It's here. It's time. Where's Bruce Buffer? It's time! Springboks versus the All Blacks. All Black squad has been announced. Etzebeth, a late inclusion into the Springbok squad. All roads lead to Ellis Park, the biggest rivalry in rugby, in sport. Over 100 test matches between the two teams. Nothing to separate, or not much separates them. How good, man. Kia ora to all my Kiwi mates. How's it? Lekker, lekker, hoe gaan het? To all the South Africans. Oh, I can't wait for it. Let's get it. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. We're going to be running through the All Blacks team here and then a quick preview of the game. Let me know what you think. Let's get into it. So, All Blacks team. Oh, man. Tamaiti Williams, Cody Taylor, Tyrell Lomax, Scott Barrett comes in, captain, Tupovai, Ethan Blackadder, Sam Cane, Ardie Savia, TJ Perenara, Damien McKenzie, Geordie Barrett, Rico Ioane, and then Caleb Clark, Will Jordan, and Beauden Barrett. The impact in Alsofa Omua, Alpha Tuongafasi, Fletcher Newell, Sam Darry, Samapeni Finau, Cortez Ratima, Anton Leonard-Brown, and Mark Talia. What a team. All Blacks are not messing around, man. No messing around. Strong team. Dalton Papali'i drops out of the team. Sam Cane comes in to start, and then Samipeni Finau on the bench. So that's the only real change. Obviously, Scott Barrett comes in, and then Tupovai in at locks with Darry dropping down to the bench, and then Josh Lord dropping out. Obviously, the force change with Ethan de Groot out of these few tests. Fletcher Newell comes in on the bench, and Tamaiti Williams starts. Man, up front first, Tamaiti Williams done really well. He's lost the last game versus Argentina really well, and they're going to have to step up massively coming up against this Springbok team. That scrum time is going to be huge. And for someone as inexperienced as Tamaiti Williams, he will relish this opportunity to come against probably the best scrum on the international stage in World Rugby in the Springbok scrum. Yes, I'm a bit biased, but let's be honest. We can all agree that the Springbok scrum is up there, probably the best. So it'll be good to see how that front row of Williams, Taylor, and Lomax hold their own against the Boks. Scott Barrett coming back in, good for obviously their leadership, good for carrying the ball as well, and good for just an extra body getting around the park, man. He gets through a ton of work. So it'll be good to see how he goes there, and just good to get your captain back. You want him back. You want him back in your side. Let's go. Ethan Blackadder, Sam Cane, Ardie Savia, strong, man. I thought they might have given Dalton Papali'i one more chance, but they've thrown Sam Cane in there. Helps with the leadership, helps with the been there, done that. Get on my back, let's go. Tackles, work rate, hitting rucks, helping Ardie Savia to slow down South African ball as well. Like Sam Cane, one of the best, man. One of the best. I wouldn't say neck and neck with Richie McCaw, because bloody no one is neck and neck with Richie McCaw, but that same mold of getting through a ton of work, playing well into the 80th minute, a pested ruck time, and just good around the park, man. Whenever you need a strong tackle, like Sam Cane is there to do it. So good to see. And then unchanged in the backline, which I thought most people thought was going to happen. I like having Samipeni Finau on the bench for them. And that's going to be huge for them. He'll come on and bring that impact. So when South Africa start to make their changes, I think that's when they'll bring Samipeni Finau on. And I also don't think Razor will be looking too much at what the Springboks are doing with regards to when they make the replacements. He'll have a plan in place, and A, B, C, D. So if A doesn't work, let's go to B. C doesn't work, B doesn't work, let's go to C. And he'll make his changes in that regard. But I think Finau brings that big punch off the bench, strong ball carrier and strong defender. That's probably the biggest attribute of Samipeni Finau. Man, so I like the team. Let me know what you guys think of the All Blacks team. That's, man, strong side, and they mean business for this one. Getting into a small little preview. So 2 areas of where I think the game will be won or lost. All right, contact area. First one. So that's set piece, your rucks, your defense, and your carries. Anything to do with contact, whoever dominates that early, like from the jump, whoever dominates the contact area. So I'm talking, like I said, the set piece, so your scrums and lineouts. Scrums, I think South Africa have the upper hand to start with. Oxenchair did say that, yes, it isn't our starting locks that are starting, but he has scrummed in front of guys like Peter Steph-Toy and Ruan Nortje, and he's backing them in. So, man, that's all they need. They need a little bit of help from behind, but that scrum is solid, man. So that's an area where All Blacks will look to try and hold their own. And then in the lineouts, again, this is something that against, especially against England, the All Blacks really struggled in. They come up against Moro Toje, one of the best to do it at lock time, at the lineouts. Really, really good in that regard. So they're coming up against Springboks where Eben isn't playing, like Erge Snyman isn't playing. There's a lot of locks, our first choice locks that aren't playing. Eben's on the bench, so he might come on a little bit later. But then you're looking at coming up against, so Peter Steph-Toy, one of the best in the world at flank. Yes, he's good in the lineouts as well, but not your main, like predominant lineout jumper. Ruan Nortje, fantastic for the Bulls. Bulls are very set piece focused as well. So I'm hoping he can just translate that into the Springbok setup. He'll be calling the lineouts and just go for him. And then it's cool to see someone with not that much experience. Let's see what you can do on the biggest stage. So that'll be interesting there. I think the lineouts are quite even there. Rucks, that'll be big, man. Like Siya Kolisi versus Sam Cane, Ben Jason Dixon versus Ethan Blackadder, and then Ardie Savea versus Jasper Wiese. It's huge, man. That's where I think the rucks will be won with the loose trio. So who can get to the ruck quicker? Who can secure their own ball? Who can irritate the other team, slow their ball down? Like what Ireland did to the Springboks. Be niggly at ruck time, man. Niggly. Slow the ball down. Dominate your own ball. Dominate your own carries and secure your own rucks. And try and be a pest for the opposition. Defense, obviously getting up there for that line and crunching tackles, man. Stopping them in their tracks. Dominant tackles. But then also making your one-on-one tackles. I think that'll be big. You can't let those one-on-one tackles slip, man. The guys are going to break through. Both sides have weapons that'll bust through and really make it count or make you pay. Carries, I think, will be another contact area where, oh man, it's just caddy. It's how you enforce, how you want to play the game. He's coming around that corner, busting through. So hitting your first phase really well, but then coming off around the corner on that second, third phase. But first phase, probably your biggest area of concern where you want to dominate in regards to carrying the ball. And then my second area where I think, focus point where I think it's going to be won or lost is taking opportunities. So the opportunities you get, the small opportunities you get, turning them into points, whether that's goal kicking or scoring tries. It's small margins. In these tough, big games, you only get small margins to score points. Whether, like I said, whether it's a goal kick or scoring tries. But then it's also when you're down there, knowing when to go for the goal kick or go for the touchline and let's put pressure on where I feel the momentum, let's go for the try, and then scoring that try. And that's where, like, I don't think many people give captains and the leadership group enough credit around that time. So there'll be that many people screaming at the television or screaming at the stands when they're at the field, like, go for posts or go for touch. And the captain chooses the other way or the other option. And you're like, oh, fuck. And then nothing comes from it. Or they end up scoring. Or the goal kick ends up working in their favor. So a lot of times, like, there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes of like, oh, how's momentum? How are we feeling? Do we want to keep that scoreboard pressure rolling over so we will go for goal? Or do we want to mount on that pressure, go for touchline and score from there. So that's just big, man. So it's getting into those 22s and really capitalizing on those small margins of those opportunities you get to then score points. So goal kicking obviously will be massive. So Damien McKenzie, I'm guessing, kicking for the All Blacks, and then Sasha Feinberg and Gumuzulu, they're going to have to be on song, man. You got those little opportunities. It could come down to the wire where it's 1 or 2 points in the game. You want to know that you've nailed all your kicks. So you haven't cut any corners. As a kicker, you want that as well. You're putting in the hours during the week, and you know when it comes to game time, when it comes to you lining up that ball, you know you've done everything you can possible. Let's just go through my process and hit those goals. And then obviously rounding off plays and line breaks. So your set plays, making sure you execute that and get that ball back. And when you do break, get into the 22, being patient with the ball, and then knowing when to go wide, knowing when to stay short, stay in close, stay in tight, the pick and drives, the plays of 9, and then knowing when to go out the back to score in the corner. It's fine margins, man. It is fine margins. I'm so excited. My last little point there is also the turning defense into attack. Both teams really, really good at it. Numbering up on defense, making the turnover, shifting that ball, and then scoring down the touchline. They do it a lot. Both teams have done it really well the past few years, few games. They know how to do that. They're turning defense into attack, a massive part of the game and where it can be won or lost. This is going to be huge. I'm like, I don't know where. I don't know who. I don't know what. I'm going to go with the Springboks. I'm going to go by Springboks by 5, mainly because of the home ground advantage and their physicalness that they bring to the game. I don't know if physicalness is a word, but I'm using it. But if the All Blacks win as well, I'll be like, they deserve it. And I get they can win this one. Absolutely they can. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Holy, it's going to be a game. What do you guys think? Hit that subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, and may the best team win. Let's go.